Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Let's wait for a few more minutes for people to walk in, and we will start shortly.
Me
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Xinli Ho from Meta, co-chair of Metaverse Ready Network Project Group of TIP. Very welcome to this breakout session. We're talking about how we work as a community to drive the Metaverse Ready networks from the use case to the requirements, enabling technology, and to the specific communication services. And very happy to have you here. When we talk about Metaverse within the MRN project group, we believe that Metaverse is about delivering engaging and immersive user experiences. It's not only about user experiences, but it's also about the new business opportunities for communication service providers and content and application service providers. To achieve the goal, and it requires innovation, everyone knows about that, but we also believe the journey to Metaverse is evolution. It's not a revolution, and you can forget about everything that we all have, but you have to develop based on what we have today and evolve towards there. And look at the MRN project group, Metaverse Ready project group. We have 4 subgroups. We start with the QE/QS measurement framework project group, aiming at developing a common framework where we can define the quality experience from a user perspective to estimate and define the target. From there, we translate and understand quality services. And this framework and methodology is applied in the use cases and the QS requirement subgroup for selected use case. And then to meet the QS requirements, we are trying to understand, develop, and verify enabling technology. And the communication service group, as the last subgroup, focuses very much on use cases related to communication services that would enable Metaverse users to communicate with users in other networks or in other worlds. So this is how the Metaverse Ready Network Project Group is organized. For this afternoon, the session is very much focused on the communication services subgroup work and the progress. But before that, we have the honor to have Juan Carlos, Senior VP of Technology and Innovation and Ecosystem from Telefonica, to do the keynote speech. After that, we have Bhabani from Meta talking about how the devices, applications will evolve into Metaverse. And then from Maria Matsuko, we talk about holographic coding. And then the last one would be a presentation led by Fernando, the co-lead of Comm Service subgroup within the project group, talking about the progress, the first use case in the subgroup, the API definitions. And after the presentation of Fernando, together with colleagues from Mavenir and Oracle, there will also be a Q&A or discussion talking about what would be the next phases of use cases that this subgroup should address on. And as a pre-announcement, tomorrow afternoon at 4:30, I know it's the last one in the last day, but we are going to have sessions led by Alex, the co-chair of the project group from Telefonica, talking very much about the QE/QS measurement framework, use cases that the group is working on, and enabling technology. It's going to be a very interesting agenda for tomorrow, but without further ado, I would like to invite Juan Carlos to give us the keynote speech.
So thank you very much. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you and opening this Metaverse Ready Summit. It is also a pleasure to host you here in Madrid, our home city for Telefonica, and being able to be here for the second year, no? It's talking about Metaverse Ready Networks. Last year we were starting with this, so we have now the chance to give a more deeper view on what is this and also what has been the first achievements. I would like to give you, to start with, a first impression of how Telefonica sees the networks as a key element for this metaverse development. We will have a look at how we see the extended reality journey, so it's a long one. Metaverse is not something that will happen immediately, but there will be phases that will take us there, and I would like to share with you our view. Also have a look at the impact in the traffic, and finally the enablers to make all this possible. First, I would like to say that, of course, there's plenty of attractive applications of Metaverse we can see in all segments, in the consumer, basically for leisure and entertainment, social networking, gaming, etc. On the enterprise, basically for training and productivity purposes. And finally, in the industrial area, in the integration with OT, for optimizing the processes again and support the field work and engineering. Okay, so the applications are very big, the interest is very strong, but this is something that will come over time. No? Gartner is predicting that Metaverse will become massive in 6 to 8 years, and we will see why. No? Why is this? No? And what are the phases that will take us there? No? We are now in the early adoption phase, where we are basically creating the initial enablers and also having the first experiences on the Metaverse to understand what is this and the applications. We will see in 2 to 5 years the ecosystem to be maturing, okay, with mainstream products and technologies that will start to be consolidated. And finally, in 5 to 10 years, that will take us probably to 2030, a point between 2029, 2030, the proliferation of different worlds where we will be, working in the metaverse. Okay, and this is because the big amount of things that needs to happen, no, to make it possible. On one side, we need devices that offer the proper user interface, to enjoy the metaverse, that go from smartphone adaptation to the metaverse, from special headsets and glasses, to game consoles, personal computers. We will have to adapt the user interface to this new experience. We'll have to develop tools to be able to deliver the metaverse, so 3D engines, tools for adding advertisement in that virtual world, for making payments, e-commerce on the metaverse, visualization, and a lot of artificial intelligence to manage such a complex scenario. No? We will need, of course, enablers, okay, and silicon technology will be fundamental to make it possible. We'll need a lot of processing. We'll need new technologies like blockchain to be able to manage safely transactions and control the activity in the metaverse. Data management layer, okay, that will be very relevant because at the end we will have all the world represented by data. And 2 elements in which the operators will be fundamental, no? The compute network fabric and the access and mobility to be able to enjoy the metaverse experience also while moving. No? And with all this, we'll have plenty of companies developing the virtual world experiences for e-commerce, for social, for live events, for gaming, for enterprise collaboration, and all this needs to happen. So any delay of any of these components will make the metaverse probably to come later. No? That's why there are many ecosystems in the industry working in developing this. Things will come also progressively. No? We are seeing at this moment an evolution of the VR glasses. So you can see the new version from Meta here. It's fantastic. So it's a great progress with respect to last year. And this will keep on happening in the next 2 or 3 years till we have already the sophisticated glasses we need for the VR experiences, social networking on VR, VR gaming, video on 3D, 360 video will be the kind of use cases that we will start seeing more massively happening till 2025. Still, we will need, of course, the network to evolve. Initially, 2025, we will see most of the applications in the home, over Wi-Fi, with homes connected with fiber, of course. And progressively, the VR will also be applied on the move as 5G networks evolve and increase capacity and reach. 2027 will be the year in which we will see to start the consolidation of AR devices and contents. And the reason for this is that we need a lighter version of the device. So AR is something that you will wear on the move, that you will wear outside, and is something that will have to become later. First, with version that will be tethered, so connected to another device, sometimes with a cable, but we will see a wireless connection to a tethered device. And there we will see the experiences now on AR. Some of them we saw before. AR for retail, for shopping, avatar meetings, or AR telepresence will be applications that we will see around that time. And the next step in the evolution is the extended reality. Now, for which we will see already standalone AR glasses without an additional device to connect to the network. They will be able to connect to the network directly and will offer the complete experience on mixed reality. So these are our view of the evolution, and let's have a look at what happens with the network. Initially, in the situation where we are today, there is a race for having a sophisticated device with a lot of processing capacity. When you look at the new glasses from Meta, when you look at the glasses from Apple, and you can see the amount of technology and processing power that you have there is amazing. Okay? And the race is now for having more integrated processing inside the glasses, and that is making a fantastic experience, but still relying basically on the cloud, on applications that are run on a cloud. When it comes to lighter devices, a good part of the processing will be offloaded to the edge, and then we will see things happening in the edge and in the internet, like rendering, positioning, or even scene understanding. All this, will allow us to have devices that are much lighter, but on the other hand, will have strong requirements on the edge and strong requirements on the networking associated to that. And the impact on the network will be significant, as I said. Traditionally, we have had, for most of the applications that we have seen traditionally in telecommunications, like messaging or browsing or social or traditional video, we see probably very limited bandwidth required, probably no strong requirements on latency, so 60 milliseconds, 100 milliseconds could be good enough. Less than 1 megabit per second, even you can watch video on your smartphone, so it's not an issue. So that is something that will be multiplied by 10 times, 20 times when it comes to VR, AR, XR experiences. And this will also come in phases, as the devices and the Metaverse services gets penetration in the population. Okay? Initially, of course, the penetration will be low. The devices will not be that sophisticated, or the contents, and we will see probably average bit rates of 50, 40 megabits per second. There are probably two categories of applications that will probably generate this traffic. One of these categories is a higher definition video, so 3D video, high resolution video, big screens, okay? That will be consuming probably significantly higher bandwidth, so 50 to 100 times more than the video resolution we see today, and will require also lower latency. The other category is the extended reality performed in the cloud, so everything related to holographic experience, XR gaming, XR social, and there we will see similar bit rates. Okay? What is important to note is two things. First, that while in the traditional services, the ratio between the average bit rate the user was consuming and the bandwidth that you need to assign to the consumer for having a good experience is around 50% higher. So for an average bit rate per user of 0.1 megabit per second, 100 kilobits per second, you will need 150 kilobits per second in bandwidth. Okay, 50% more capacity. When you go to AR, VR, and all those new content, the ratio it becomes to be 3 times or 4 times. And the reason for this is that while in traditional services, a good part of the content is streamed, and the bitrate is not fluctuating so much as the session is executed, when it comes to extended reality, the bitrate depends very much on things like how much you move your head, how fast you move in the virtual world, how sophisticated is the scene you are looking at, and all this is provoking a lot of peaks, okay? And this is the reason why the bandwidth you need to deliver to each user is 3 times or 4 times the bandwidth that the user is really consuming in average. Okay, the bit rate that is consuming average. And this is a relevant fact that is increasing the demand on the network. There is another relevant factor that is in our estimates. It will be in a moment between 2027 and 2029 that the contents of high definition and extended reality will overpass the contents from the traditional services. Okay, so it will be in 4 to 6 years, okay, that we will see all this extended reality traffic, being higher than the rest of the traffic. And we will need something very relevant to make it possible, okay? And that is making all these enablers for the metaverse, like edge computing that we mentioned, the quality on demand, the chance to deliver a specific quality. We have seen that there is a strong demand of lower latency for XR contents. We will have to control this, and we'll have to control somehow the quality and the latency for these kind of applications, and this will be with the quality on demand capabilities. Slicing also will be a way to deliver that characteristic, assigning or defining special slices for XR. Communications that we will see in this summit as well, so how we are integrating traditional communications within the metaverse. And finally, uplink control that will be necessary for some applications. So all these enablers are things that need to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay? We will need also a platform to expose these capabilities to the applications, okay, the metaverse application, the metaverse platforms. And this is something that GSMA and Camara projects are putting in place. Camara is a Linux Foundation project that is where we are standardizing the APIs that the user, the developer is going to use to get access to the network capabilities of the telecom operators. And finally, the GSMA Open Gateway initiative is a business initiative of the operators at the GSMA, where there is a commitment to offer commercially the same set of APIs, okay? A standard service, a universal service to get access to the network capabilities of the telecom operators. And this will allow to create metaverse experience worldwide with a similar experience whatever is the network you are connected to. Conclusions. So I don't know how we are doing in terms of time. Okay. So then 3 major things for you to take. So the first is that metaverse use cases will be the major driver for traffic growth in the next years, and that at some point in time between 27 and 29, we will see this traffic being bigger than the rest of the traffic, that the metaverse enabling capabilities, like slicing, edge computing, or quality on demand, will be necessary to deliver the metaverse requirements. So we'll have to work strongly in the next 3 to 5 years to make it possible. And finally, TIP has a role on this, and we'll have to build a roadmap to understand where all these key capabilities are going to be deployed. Support also the APIs that will facilitate the access to those capabilities. And finally, support the development of the different use cases to provide the right customer experience. So TIP has a role probably in creating the blueprints of network capabilities together with APIs that will allow to deliver the different experiences in the metaverse. Okay, so this group probably has a strong responsibility in all this, and I would like to congratulate for the work done so far, and also encourage you to keep on, with this good work moving forward. I don't know if we have time for questions or.
Yeah, maybe we can have 1 or 2 questions from the audience. Please.
Hello, Fyuz from Intel. So if I understand correctly, in the near future, the bandwidth requirements for metaverse users will be about 150 Mbps. Is that correct, what you showed in one of your first slides?
Progressively, okay?
And yeah. And then I can imagine, a home user, because the users will be mostly indoor users, I believe, would require another 50, 100, 200, let's say, for his television or for his other internet services. So all in all, would require something like 400 to 500 Mbps bandwidth at home, correct? And that requires fiber.
Yeah.
So in order to enable that vision, we will require fiber to the home for every user, correct?
Yes, you're right.
And that will require lots of investments from the customer service, from the communication service providers,
yes.
like the Vodafone and so on. Is Metaverse thinking about this as a bottleneck? I mean, whether those operators will go with these investments needed in order to leverage Metaverse? Is Metaverse planning maybe to support them in a way, revenue sharing? What's your idea about that?
Yeah. Well, what we see is a general trend in the market, in the telecommunication market, for the home residential service to fiber to home. Okay. In a market like Spain, next year we will switch off the copper network. We'll have only homes connected with fiber. And Europe is pushing hard to get to 100% fiber as well. When you see Asia Pacific, China, Japan, Korea are there, and the rest of the world will follow. I mean, fiber to the home, it's not just something we need to meet these requirements. It's also something telecom operators need to meet the efficiency and performance in the fixed access line. The difference in performance, in power consumption, when you compare FTTH with cable or ADSL is huge, okay? So then I understand it will take time to have fiber to the home all over the world, but there are regions that are already there, and the rest are moving in that direction. And again, it's not just a question of having additional revenues with the Metaverse. In the case of Spain, we did it because it pays off the performance and efficiency in the operation. We have been able to switch off so far 3,000 central offices. Okay? So we have 9,000, we have now 6,000. And we will further reduce, because with fiber you have longer lines, you need less central offices, you have a passive network that is much, much efficient in terms of operating activities than anything else. So I understand your question, but I think that the market will naturally go there, even if there is no Metaverse.
Maybe you could have one more question?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Chris Lewis from Lewis Insight. The question that occurs to me is one of control, in that you're describing many moving parts that go to form the infrastructure of the metaverse. You mentioned on the device, the browser, back in the cloud. So in your opinion, who is in control of this environment? Because someone has to be at some point in order to ensure the quality of delivery.
Yeah. Well, there are several parts of the experience. No, one is related to the network and the compute. Okay, and the telecom operators will play a role. There is another part on the devices and applications, and there will be other providers that will have to take care of this. No? I understand that at the end, the one that is selling the service, so the Metaverse service providers, will be the final responsible of the quality, and they will demand to infrastructure providers and network providers like Telefonica or any other operator the right quality. And this is the reason why we are working on the measurements, to be how we measure quality, what is quality for the Metaverse. And second, we are also working on the APIs that will allow us to activate the right levels of quality whenever we need it.
Yeah, if I can add on that question, I would say it probably will take a collaborative approach, as we do today in MRN PG, rather than one party from the ecosystem will take control of everything. At least for now, we're collaborating with each other very well. The content and application providers like Meta and CSPs like Telefonica. And with that question, I think it's also very naturally moved to the next presentation. That is Bhabani from Meta talking about path to Metaverse from device application perspective.
Thank you very much.
Bhabani, please.
No, coge otro.
Coge otro si quieres. Coge segundo. No, it's okay. Control all works. It's on. It's on. It's on.
Yeah, I couldn't have better place, like you mentioned, Juan. Thank you. The latest headset from Meta is just incredible. Agree with that. Maybe I can bring some perspective for how we see at Meta, path to Metaverse, and what we have been working on from a user experience perspective. Now, before that, right, what is Metaverse? Last year, I was describing these things in a closed room downstairs. Now we are here. There are many definitions to Metaverse, right? And in my view, in one way or other, each of them are accurate. But then, before I define Metaverse, for me, it's how we consume internet, or how we do things, how we interact with each other. All those things, right, plays a role. So maybe this way, maybe this, or this, right? We consume everywhere. One thing common, we look at the devices we have, and we consume the internet or consume the information. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? We can be doing things differently with the different kind of devices that will come into picture. Maybe the way we see, you'll consume internet in future by not looking at it, but by being in it. So if you're studying something, you probably won't be looking at a book. You'll be in there, you're looking about stars or history classes, you will be in there and studying it. But obviously, you need different kind of devices for that. Today, we have this. Okay, we launched today. The latest and greatest Quest we ever launched, the Quest 3. It's a really great device to showcase mixed reality. Maybe you should try if you haven't. But then, next step into Metaverse, maybe I can play a little video that will show you what we think about Metaverse and how we envision all these things.
Some people say the Metaverse will only be virtual. One day, this lecture hall will be made of code. And though they're virtual students, what they'll learn together is real. A surgeon will be able to practice as many times as needed in the Metaverse before laying her hands on a real patient. These students aren't really back in 32 BCE, but they can still watch Mark Antony debate in ancient Rome. The Metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
So yeah, it may look like it is virtual, it may look like it's far out, but the impact definitely will be real. Now, yes, Juan, thanks again. You put together very nicely the building blocks, very detailed ones. If we break it down the way at least I say it, it's a kind of a meta take and my take as well here. The main things, obviously, we are here, connectivity, very important. Devices and experiences are going to be really key. We stepped into Metaverse last year. We renamed ourselves from Facebook to Meta, and that speaks a lot. But we realized that the experiences weren't there. So it's very important for the adaptability of Metaverse. The experiences are there, and they are mainly frictionless. If you have to really struggle to get into Metaverse, probably you'll not try it. If it doesn't feel real, you'll not try it, right? You'll not go for it. So for us, it's very important to get the devices and the experiences piece right. Everything else we think will fall in line as well as we go along. So we have been busy. Since last year, we have been working on few bits and pieces. There are two trains of hardware we have been working on. One is the VR, and one is the AR, but it's smart glasses at this point. Again, I'll show you what Juan has been talking about. Yes, today probably you will experience Metaverse at home or your offices for B2B scenarios. And you'll be using a Quest or a similar kind of a VR headset, experience different kind of experiences that we just talked about in the video using this. And it's not just gaming as we speak today. The more and more events I have been attending, and more creators I have been talking to, this has become very evident that it's getting into fitness. They're redefining the whole category altogether. Or social interaction. Last year, we were showcasing workrooms where you can have a virtual call, not just a Zoom call, but more like feel people around you. And then entertainment or productivity, all these things. For example, Nike uses these things to design their shoes. Or Lufthansa uses Quest to design their seating arrangement in an aircraft. So these are all unique experiences which were not possible before, but more so now with the mixed reality that has been there now. And another train of thought, we have been working on smart glasses. We call it Ray-Ban Meta. We have been partnering with Ray-Ban to come up with that. And it's, to give you an idea, a normal Ray-Ban glasses is something like 40 grams to 42 grams. And a Ray-Ban Meta weighs only 8 grams more, just to put into perspective, okay? It doesn't feel any more weightier than a normal sunglasses. But then what do we have here? We have a camera, which is similar to the camera of an iPhone 11, okay? You can take real pictures. Then it has Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and you can obviously listen to your music, make calls, WhatsApp calls, all sorts of things. But the idea here is you are, again, present in the moment. You are not taking your eyes off, looking at a screen, but being there in the moment. The things that you are used to do, like take out your phone and take a picture, you could just say, hey, Meta, take a picture, right? Or just click, take a picture, right? All those things. And more are coming into this with generative AI. We are trying to implement AI into it where imagine you are looking at a picture and you just ask, hey, Meta, what is this, right? You don't have to go and Google it. It can just tell you there, right? So the best place here is your eyes. So we see what you see. We can just tell you what exactly you're looking for. The context is there. Information related to the context is also there. Very relevant, okay? So again, these things are getting launched as we speak. So definitely try out if you haven't. Now, we will go back to this. I talked about the devices, but then there is another piece, experiences. As I mentioned, we have been realizing if you bring a lot of experiences, which people are used to do in their normal life, into Metaverse, make it feel like real, they will enjoy this experience. So what we have been doing? So in Connect 2023, we announced augments. Augments are something, it's a virtual object. You can place it on a real world. For example, if I wear my Quest headset, I can have my pictures here on a real wall, like you generally would have in your home. Or I could have my calendar here. Before I go out, I can look at those. Or weather, any sorts of things, right? The possibilities are limitless. You can have anything, right? Now, these are really relevant information that you can consume on the go, depending on the hardware you're wearing, right? Again, goes back to hardware, connectivity, experiences. Another thing, we have been working again on legs, right? We are nothing without legs, right? No, that's a wrong statement, but maybe we are incomplete without legs. At least the avatars. We have been dealing with avatars without the legs, and maybe it's time to bring legs to them, right? And we introduced legs. You can imagine with Quest 3 or Quest Pro, if we want to bring it to mass market, you have to make it lighter, define new category of hardwares altogether, in which case you won't have cameras all around you to capture your exact leg movements, right? So we have been using AI. We have been good at it, so we have been using AI. We trained millions of models, okay? Millions of users. We took those expressions, how you would actually react, how your leg position would be. Let's say I'm trying to do a boxing, so my legs won't be this, right? I would be something like that, right? So I can predict all these things fairly reasonably now. So even though I don't have a camera looking at your legs, I can still predict very reliably how your legs will look like, right? So now we brought this thing to avatars. So imagine what users or creators can do with a real legs for them, right? You can run around in the park, give a realistic experience. Don't run around the swimming pool maybe, but yeah, things like that you could do. Codec avatars, that's been another thing. We have been working a lot, and the idea here is, again, to bring it realistic view, so you feel real in Metaverse. It should not feel like cartoonish to you, right? I guess I'll leave a few seconds here for you to judge which one is real and which one is an avatar. I'm sure now you'll get it, which one is real, which one is avatar. So we have been working on these things to define and make it. Those who thought left side is real person, kudos, yeah. But this is what we have been working on to define codec avatars. They are very uniquely positioned for Metaverse. We'll talk about the bandwidth and how they will help in a bit. But they will change the way we have been thinking about calls, video calls. You can represent yourself so realistically, that's why I left the play for a while, that you can hardly see the difference. And this is one more video.
The realism here is just incredible.
Mark and Fredman had this
Where
conversation.
am I? Where are you, Mark? Where are we?
Look
You're
at
in Austin,
the
right?
No, I mean
surprisedness
this
in his
place.
eyes.
We're shrouded by darkness with ultra realistic face, and it just feels like we're in the same room. This is really the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And sorry to be in your personal space.
I mean,
We have done jiu-jitsu before.
yeah, no, I was commenting to the team before that even I feel like we've choked each other from further distances than it feels like we are right now.
I mean, this is just really incredible. I don't know how to describe it with words. It really feels like we're in the same room.
Yeah.
It feels like the future. This is
Yeah.
truly, truly incredible. I just wanted to take it in. I'm still getting used to it. It's like, it's you. It's really you.
So it's you. It's really you. It just feels real, okay? And once we bring all these things into Metaverse, the experience will be completely newly defined altogether. Every year, I feel like we are defining Metaverse in a completely different way. Experiences we bring in that we never thought about before, and going to wow the creators, content, everybody. Finally, this is how we define Metaverse. That's how we started. It's like we define it as a 3D space where you are there, you see the things that you would have seen otherwise in your real life, experience the things that you would experience in your real life, feels real. That's the experience. Thank you. I'm Bhabani Panda, and I lead the head of EMEIA engineering in the UK from Meta. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Bhabani, for the very interesting presentation. Not only about what the future may look like, but also what's happening now and what's possible now. Maybe we have time for one question.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you. A totally loaded question, because I'm blind, so the visual element of this is irrelevant to me. How immersive an experience can you create using sound and haptic and touch feedback?
Oh, amazing question. I love it. And this is what we have been demoing upstairs. Last year, we had a product called Workroom Horizon, okay? Workroom Horizon, in which, let's say you're taking a video call, let's say Zoom call. You see everybody is just talking to you. It's like from a computer. You have no feeling of presence, whether the person is next to you on your left or your right, or they're speaking to you from your front, you don't know. So with this 3D surround sound that we have introduced with Quest 3, you have a very good feeling of whether I'm sitting next to you, on your left or your right, okay? Those kind of sound effects is already there since last year. We have redesigned the controller that comes with Quest 3. Again, the haptics are completely redefined. The feedback is very precise. Whatever action you are doing, depending on the game you have or whatever experience you are going through, the haptic feedback is very precise. And obviously, I can only predict it will go better and better from here on. I'm not sure if that answers your question.
Oh, thank you. Well, sort of, but the question is really,
Okay.
how do we, if you think of all the senses that we as humans use, that touch, even down to taste and smell,
Yeah.
I mean, are we ever going to get that level? Is that part of your vision?
Okay, at least not that I have seen so far, but I'm pretty sure that's not something.
And I'll give you one bit of feedback that certainly whenever obviously I can't use the screen, but when listening to the sound quality isn't good enough to give you a really immersive experience.
Yeah, so it is improving for sure. And as I gave you example, sound quality definitely has improved a lot. Please welcome to Meta Stand to try out the new Quest 3,
Yeah.
so you can experience that. But about the senses, touch, or smell, etc., I don't know if I can comment a lot around that. My limit, as you can see, Metaverse is a journey. I can only see till 5 years maybe, and I don't see within 5 years that's the realization we're going to do it.
So we won't be wearing full body suits to do for these
You
interactions.
could, but probably you can't do all the things that you want to do, right? We want to really make the hardware very lightweight, very portable, stylish, of course, otherwise nobody will wear it, so that you use these experiences a lot of this, and then we improve.
Maybe let's take that as an input and a suggestion.
Yes.
That in our roadmap, we will take taste, the smells as part of the immersive experience for the
I
future.
love that idea, yes.
Yeah.
I want a rose
So
smell.
thank you very much, Bhabani.
Thank you.
And as we said in the beginning, Metaverse is about the evolution from today into the future. It's not only a future vision, but it's happening now and today. And with that, I would like to invite Maria from Matsuko talking about holographic coding.
Hola, buenos días. It's difficult after Bhabani, but it's my honor to be here. And my background is not networks, okay? It's robotics. But as you know, and I realized when I was preparing this speech today, is that it's all connected. So for example, in this project, we connected physical robots with many sensors in real time in one smart home facility for elderly care near Pisa in Italy. So maybe I was working in networking before, but I didn't know about it. But today I will talk about Matsuko. So, you know, like robotics is cool as well. And during one business delegation with our president of Slovakia, we're a small country, and he took some of the visionaries of Slovakia into Silicon Valley. And I met with Mateusz, who was the lead programmer of Assassin's Creed, and he was connecting millions of players in like these huge multiplayer online games. We had an opportunity to meet the CEO of Zoom, and he was having a pitch that if you want to do something really big enough, it's about connecting people. And you know it as well. And all these big breakthroughs in technology are about connecting, correct? Like the internet, social media, and many, many other things. And we realized that evening, like 7 years ago, that if we combine my skills of machine learning and Mateusz's skills in 3D and real time, we can do the next step in the evolution of communication. It's the holograms. And we were crazy enough to try it. And as you know, today we have the video calls, and they are great. However, there is something in our brain that it's really wired for this 3D, because it's the most natural for us as human beings to connect in the real world, not in video calls. And we don't want to say that like the holograms are better than the real presence, but we really believe that we have the closest solution to real meetings today. And in the metaverse, we have the avatars. Of course, like it's great for fun. You have this spatial feeling, but for the business use cases, it's not enough. And we are very happy that the upcoming solutions will have this realism, and this will enhance the feeling of presence, of togetherness. And of course, you can go to Volumetric Studio, but what we are doing here today and also together with the telcos is that we are democratizing the holographic presence. And we think that democratization and interconnectivity are the keys for the metaverse. But before I will show you some examples of the cooperation with telcos, I invite you to try Matsuko. We'll be here also tomorrow, so it's really like the best experience is in the glasses. But anyway, when you join the meeting and you put on the glasses, the magic happens. So you can stay in your office, the real room, or you can be present in the virtual room, in the VR, but in an instance, all your colleagues or friends appear as holograms, and the interaction just changes. Because you are free to interact, you don't need a moderator. You are free from this 2D video calling window, you know, and you have an eye contact, you can like really feel all the spectrum of emotions, and we see that people are becoming more productive even if they cannot meet face to face. And our vision is to bring the holographic presence as a simple call. So our technology was built in this way that you only need a single camera to become a hologram. It can be your mobile phone, or we are working on the desktop version, so you just open your your laptop, and your hologram is generated and streamed in real time. So this is my application at my MacBook today. So my friends Milana from Ukraine and Dana from Toronto, and we are having these holographic meetings together. So all you need is your smartphone, and we know that the best experience is the immersive one, but you know, like today, everybody has a mobile phone, so we were doing this also for the augmented reality, in your, like seeing the hologram through the mobile phone or the iPads, but it's like great if you don't have the device, but it's not enough. And when it comes to the combination of the technology that we are using, it's also about the cooperations we have. So for the 3D, we really work with Meta and many other hardware manufacturers. When it comes to AI, it's especially our machine learning algorithms, but also NVIDIA, for example. And for the real-time and connectivity, here is the place for the telcos, okay? And all the machine learning algorithms are running on cloud, and what we are doing is that we really reconstruct a person pixel by pixel, and we map these pixels into voxels, into the 3D in real time. And we can also reconstruct what the camera does not see, so even the non-visible parts of the human head and the torso. And today is a very special day for us. As of today, the 10th of October, we are finally issued a patent for the holographic communication, so we can go to celebrate with Bhabani tonight. And it talks about that you need just a device with any camera, then you have the cloud infrastructure, and any 3D capable device or display. So maybe in the future, we'll have some other devices, not only the glasses, we'll see. And it's really built for many participants. So today we connect 3 to 4 holograms in real time. In the next year, 8, and we'll see how it goes. And it's hardware agnostic, so we can integrate with many devices. And the most important part, what's happening on the cloud, is this 2D to 3D reconstruction. It's our like everything what we have. And of course, it works also on 4G, but I will show you some examples of the benefits of 5G for the holographic calling today. So we started with a simple use cases where you have a pre-recorded hologram streamed to many viewers, and then we moved last year or 2 years ago into the real time, and today we are working on having multiple holograms in real time. Okay, so you will see some evolution there. And it also helps our cooperation with the telcos working on the business use cases as well. So just some examples. With Orange and in France, we made a pre-recorded hologram of the CEO of Tour de France, so it's the third biggest event in sports. And he was welcoming the visitors during the race and showing some like maps and providing information during the race. And then, for example, with Deutsche Telekom, they are more interested in trainings and HR. So this is the CEO of Deutsche Telekom of more than 4,000 employees. And we recorded his hologram so everybody could like have a meeting with him from the day one for the onboarding new employees. So for the best experience, yes, if you have to wear the goggles. To generate the hologram, no, just to view the hologram. And then we moved to the real time because he wanted to do some demos with the team and for many kind of presentations in real time. And in 2022, we connected all the European leading telcos into one integration of a holographic call as a simple service, so simple phone call. It was a great PR, but behind the PR there was some technical work, of course. So you can see Carlos from Telefonica, how he was seen by the other operators in Frankfurt by Vodafone, in Paris by Orange, and in Cologne by Deutsche Telekom in real time, okay? And we used the dynamic edge reconstructor server that was placed in the nearest location of each of them. And we used the public cloud, but we were able to use the telco's 5G network APIs to really lower the latency, to improve all the parameters like bandwidth, jitter, for better hologram quality and FPS. And we, of course, this was like the main output from the technical point, where we established the minimum requirements for the latency and bandwidth. So it has many numbers, but the most important is that if we talk just about one hologram, we are talking about 50,000 to 80,000 vertices because it's a mesh. And for the connectivity, for the upload, we would need like 4 to 6 megabits per second. And it's similar for the download, so 5 to 7 megabits per second, when we are talking about 15 frames per second, because it's a volumetric video. And we continued with Telefonica. So we wanted to improve the hologram quality. So you can see Fernando, how he improved his image. And so the higher FPS number achieved so far was around 15 frames per second. But, you know, like, we have a great quality when the camera really sees the person, like from the front. And we are improving the details on the edges, when the camera does not see you, and for example, the ears, etc. But we are on the way. However, when we compare holograms with 2D video calls, and we are asked this question so many times, you know, by the investors and many partners, like the telcos, is when we will achieve the same hologram quality compared to the resolution we have today during the video calls. And what we can see, this is my favorite movie, Foundation, is that it's not so important. I mean, it is, and we are working on it. However, spatial feeling for the users is much more important than the resolution in 2D video calls. Okay, it's much more. And we see in the movies that they're like adding some magic into the holograms. So I don't want to say that we want to cover the imperfections, but adding some visual effects that we're working on right now, it's really to change the experience of the user. It's not always about the technical stuff, okay? And we really believe that holograms make the connection human when we are remote. But of course, this is the place for the telcos if you want to help us as well. So we are conducting independent user research with many of them. I will just show you one. So this was done by Deutsche Telekom, and they compared in the same setting the experience with avatars and with holograms of Matsuko. And so the participants were called, they sat down, and they had a conversation using the same setup. And when we are talking about the cognitive stuff, like the social realism, how people perceive the richness of the communication, the social presence, engagement, and even the productivity, holograms really score the high score overall in all the parameters. And for example, here we learned that I just show you that the immersiveness of the virtual reality headsets is much more important than the augmented reality version, because it's the point where people just compare it to the video calls when you have the augmented reality on the mobile phone. And I think like this year, the most part of our work with the telcos are the network APIs. So we are in all these private beta premium access for all the network services, and they use Matsuko to showcase what they can achieve when we use some services like quality on demand for the edge discovery services. So I will show you just one video.
5G is the ultra-fast network which connects everything. On top of this, there are 5G network APIs. With these APIs, we enable customers to directly interact with the network. Working together with others is always a good idea. So we work together with Matsuko and Orange on a combined use case to enable this use case in Deutsche Telekom and in the Orange network.
Matsuko is providing holographic services, which means that you can basically overcome the distance, and via mobile device you can meet with people and colleagues as hologram. With the network APIs provided by the telcos, we can definitely improve our use case, which results in a better quality of the holographic call and a lower latency. And this enables better customer.
So this is Sandy. Sandy is sitting in Paris, in France. And we showcased during the heavy traffic as she was streamed from Paris to Berlin with Deutsche Telekom and to Seattle as a one-way holographic call under heavy traffic, and how we improved, for example, the latency. So using the network APIs, we could really bring it down to the zero. And this is the work we just announced. So we work with also like many other telcos, where we made the world's first transatlantic holographic meeting, where these holograms were recorded in real time when cooperating together.
On from Toronto, Canada, your 3D designer for the project.
Hello, I'm Bruno.
Okay, I invite you to see it through the glasses. And we really believe that the work with the telcos is for long term. So under one European Horizon 2020 project, we try to standardize the requirements for mixed reality applications for 6G. And one activity under this project is IMS control layer. So you just have a regular call, but when you start the call, holograms will appear in real time. And I invite you for the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, where we will prepare together with Telefonica and NVIDIA a very new experience, where we will show the killer features of the holographic calls. And we believe it's the eye contact. Even people wear the headsets. And also, we don't worry about the 2D screen share of presentations, because we are in 3D, so we will be able to really work on 3D object streaming together. So we are very happy that we have all of you here that support us, and I just invite you for tomorrow's panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the audience?
It's just a small question. Why are you considering 5G and not, for instance, Wi-Fi for the connectivity?
Okay, so we work with 5G because of the network APIs and because we really can improve all the network parameters on 5G. And also it's an indoor experience. So like for us, 5G is like the only solution we think about. But of course, we do some edge implementations as well. And we are trying also with some hardware manufacturers to bring the much experience to the headset, like move it as much from the cloud to the headset, but it really depends on who we are working with.
Thank you very much, Maria, for a very interesting presentation. It's interesting not only because your presentation about your technology, your patent, but I think you're really carrying through a message that is about collaboration between application developers and operators to make this really happen. And that's what we're doing in Metaverse Ready Network Project Group. So next presentation is from Fernando.
Hello? Sorry, but this is the... Okay, so while we are waiting, maybe we can start. So, hello everybody, thank you for your attendance today. First of all, let me introduce my colleagues, Ignacio Asensio from Mavenir, and Fabio Felici from Oracle. Okay, so basically I'm Fernando Pargas. I'm working in Telefonica in the technical part of the core. So basically we manage the different communication services that we can provide to third parties, as well as we are working in the definition of the architecture of the communication service of the future. So I don't know if it's still okay. Okay, let me check. Okay, so as I was telling you, one of the projects that I'm already in is Telecom, is Metaverse Ready Networks from Telecom Infra project. Especially, I'm co-leading the comms service subgroup. And basically, this comms service subgroup today has members from 17 different partners all around the world. And basically, we are focusing define the communication use cases and about all the technologies that are associated with that makes the users of the metaverse to communicate between them into different network platforms or different networks inside. So basically, that's all what we are doing in this subgroup. So how in the best way to distribute this information, we are focusing in three different groups. The first milestone is about bringing your own number. That is the thing that I'm going to talk about today. The second one will be related to new calling and the interactive calls. And the third milestone will be related and focused on holographic calls. So bring your own number, as you can see in the screen, is the main point that we were focused these months ago. So basically, let's start to talk about it in a little more detail. Okay, as you already know, immersive experience such as virtual reality, augmented reality, the metaverse are technologies that are evolving every day, that are improving. However, one of the things that XR companies are trying to or are facing is about the engagement of the user. So, for example, if you are playing with your glasses in the metaverse, or you are working with your glasses, for example, and just a simple phone call starts to you receive a simple phone call, you will need to remove your glasses today to answer that call. So this will cause that you are going to lose all the immersive stimuli that you are getting with XR experience. So for that reason, one of the solutions that we are trying to do to eradicate this little bit problem is bring your own number. Let me continue. Okay, so thanks to the WebRTC technology and thanks to WebRTC gateway, the customers of Bring Your Own Number will be able to receive, register, and make calls directly. But the interesting thing about this is not a simple call. Maybe you can use this technology to make, receive, and register call using devices as not necessarily SIM card devices. Maybe you can use some glasses or laptops or some devices that doesn't need any SIM card device. So that's the interesting part about this. One of the another functionalities or features that Bring Your Own API can bring is about that. Imagine the same situation as before, that you are playing in the metaverse or something like that, and you have registered two different devices. For example, you have your mobile phone and you have your glasses on. So you will be able, using your same phone number, to answer that call in the glasses or in the device. Maybe you will prefer the glasses because you will not lose the immersive experience with the glasses. So that's basically all about this. So what is the challenge that we have? So basically, actually, the interface between the WebRTC gateway and the client SDK is already standardized. But however, the control plane interface between the WebRTC gateway and the client SDK is different in each solution. So for that reason, this UNI interface will manage the registration, will manage the receive and the make calls. So for that reason, we want to standardize this API or this feature, because it will be necessary to simplify the things that one developer has to do in case they want to use this technology. So that's the main point that we are challenged. So for that reason, as I was telling you, we want to standardize this API. So basically, we have proposed in camera this proposal. Fortunately, it has been accepted. So today we have support from different companies as Mavenir, Vodafone, Orange, T-Mobile USA, and until then, a camera subgroup will be created soon. Until then, we are aware in all the different partners that are interested in collaborating in this development to support this API in camera and this subgroup. Okay, now my colleague Ignacio Asensio is going to talk about Bring Your Own Number technical definition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Asensio, I'm from Mavenir, and I will try to explain that interface that is being standardized right now. We are trying to make it simple, okay? As you all know, making calls, the voice platforms are really complex, so we are starting from the beginning. The beginning is registration and basic calling, okay? For the registration, we have the 3 basic methods that an API has. Post, to create the registration. Put, to edit and do the authentication part. And, of course, delete. We have another post that it's another way of putting the token that I will show you later on the authentication part. And then for the basic call, again, post to create the object of the voice call, delete to delete, of course, and put to edit, again, that call that I will show you later why, okay? Then we have get method also that for these 2 basic scenarios is not used, okay? We will be using it in further use cases like supplementary services or video calls, okay? To use the information in the call to enhance or maybe forward the call to another one or other use cases that are not yet here, okay? How this API has been done. Has been done from scratch, okay? It is based on OMA API WebRTC technology. So we are not reinventing the wheel. We are just reusing things that have been done, okay? The idea of this API is to simplify, okay? Nowadays, developers doesn't know too much about the protocols that are being used in an operator, okay? So the idea is to simplify and use a very simply, again, sorry for repeating, API to have a voice call, okay? Then we discard SIP over WebSockets just because of that I mentioned. Next one, this is the boring part, okay? I will try to be quick. Everybody hates call flows, but I need to show it, okay? As I was mentioning, there's an authentication at the beginning, then the post that I have mentioned with the unique identifier of the device. That unique identifier will be mapped in the WebRTC gateway with the MSSDN and all the parameters necessary to have a session in IMS. An important thing that we have been doing in the IMS, in the voice platform, is necessary to do some updates on the registration. This doesn't need to be done with the API. It will be done automatically by the WebRTC gateway, okay? So the WebRTC gateway is an important element to complete these use cases. What sometimes needs to be done is to refresh the token for authentication, okay? This authentication is nothing related with this specific API. It just has been defined by Camara. And then at the end, we will have the delete, okay? That was for the registration part, for the call originating from the device that makes the call, let's say. We have already established a WebSocket because everything here is run over a web server. In the future, I guess it will be an application itself. It has the post that I mentioned to you before, and the rest that you can see here that I am not going to go one by one because I will kill you. It's WebRTC standard behavior, okay? So we are not touching that behavior. We are just facilitating the initial communication with the device, okay? And the last one, well, I give the last one, that is the terminated part, that is the one that takes the call. Also, the WebSocket is active, and in this case, instead of post, we are using put method, sorry, because we are modifying the already existing object from the post, okay? Same than before, the rest of the interactions are pretty standard from WebRTC. And then the session, the SRTP session that is encrypted, it's done, okay? A very important thing here is we are standardizing things from Mavenir, from Oracle, from Telefonica. So I am speaking how we made the API. Now my friend from Oracle, what we are implementing, they are implementing.
Thank you. So in the last few minutes, I'm going to explain how the proof of concept that we have been working on in the last few months with Telefonica to demonstrate some of the use cases that Fernando was demonstrating. And it's a WebRTC demo, which allows to make WebRTC call from the Metaverse, basically. And what we have done is basically to provide a WebRTC gateway, which has been integrated with the IMS network of Telefonica on one side, and on the other side with a client application developed by Telefonica using our SDK for dialing to make calls from the Metaverse, from within the VR devices of the Oculus ecosystem. I can see here from the architecture, I promise there will not be call flow more than this. So it's the WebRTC gateway is basically made of two components. There is a signaling engine, which basically translates the WebRTC control into SIP for connection to the IMS core. And there is a media engine, which manages the RTP media through NAT and firewall, usual things, technology like STAN and TAN to overcome the NAT and firewall. Right? So what have we done here? We basically provide, this is not yet using the Camara API that you have seen in the previous slide. Right? But the principles are pretty much the same. So all the signaling path is actually using the same type of call flow where the device initially registered to the WebRTC gateway. The WebRTC gateway uses its own identity and access management system, which is integrated with the IMS core and allow to register the device with the same credential used in the IMS. Can be, you will see in the example, the same mobile number here for your VoLTE devices, right? And with the WebRTC gateway, we provide an SDK. Since you say this is not yet the Camara API, so we provide an SDK to that developers can develop an application for any device. You see here, it's basically a set of JavaScript API that can be used to create a GUI. In this slide, you see a very simple example of GUI. You will see in a few minutes a short recording of the demo, which is a much nicer interface that has been developed by Telefonica. So what have we done with this? Basically, to use cases, first we registered subscriber from the Metaverse into the IMS core to receive calls outside the Metaverse. So basically to mobile phone, for example, or even fixed phone, any phone that is outside of the Metaverse. And then most important, we use the same mobile number identity. So we register the application inside the VR glasses with the same mobile number that you have in the Telefonica network, so that when the phone rings, you receive the calls on both devices. As Fernando was mentioning in the beginning, you don't need to take out your VR glasses to answer the call. You can take the call directly from the Metaverse, so you don't need to interrupt that immersive experience. And this is important, not just to improve the immersive experience, as we think, as we're seeing today, more for the entertainment, consumer industry, but may have an important use also, for example, in an enterprise environment to enable what we call the industrial metaverse, so the collaboration, the productive environment, the use of the immersive technology for productivity, right? And I mentioned before that the API we use are not yet the standard Camara API. Of course, work has been done very recently. You've seen was presented at the end of August, but the flow that uses is pretty much the same. It's still JSON over WebSockets, so similar to what Ignacio was explaining. On the other side, from Oracle, we are supporting the initiative, we are participating, we are not actively contributed yet to Camara, but we are following Camara activities and GSMA Open Gateway. We are taking into account all the work, not just from WebRTC point of view, but also for other products that we develop at Oracle, whether this is, for example, NEF, SEF in a mobile network, BSS system, or vertical application that we have from different industry that we work with, right? And of course, we believe in this work in order to expand this API ecosystem to have a developer providing application that can work in any network, in any device. And with this, I think it's the last slide. I'll leave to Fernando to show again the short video of the demo that was available in the Meta booth.
Okay, thank you, Fabio and Nacho. So to conclude the presentation, I would like to say that we have been working we have been talking about in this presentation, but apart from that, we were working with Oracle in a proof of concept that is already here in the Meta booth that you can see it. You can see the demo, and we have been using this bring your own number technology. So basically, I have prepared a quick video, an explanation video, where you are going to see the same situation, a first situation with a user who has not have the bring your own number technology, and the same situation with a person that already has the bring your number solution. I don't know if the sound is on. Okay. If there is no sound, maybe I can describe. Okay. So as you can see here, we have a user that is playing in the metaverse or playing her favorite game, but suddenly what? Maybe I was me. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so basically, as I was telling you, basically you have one user that is already playing in the metaverse or something like that, and suddenly someone starts to calling her. So the problem that we are facing is that she will need to remove her headset to answer the call properly. As you can see here, she has to remove the headset, and now she is losing all the immersive experience that it's necessary to have in this kind of situation. However, in this case, we have one user that is using the technology of bring your own number. So in the same way as before, he is receiving a new call, but instead of taking off his headset, he will be able to answer that call in the glasses. Okay, and he will be able to talk with the glasses without losing the immersive experience that is the thing that we are looking for since the beginning, that we wanted to do the metaverse call, for example. So that's basically all that we were working. As I said before, we are in the Meta booth where we have more information about this API, about this proof of concept. So you are aware to come wherever you want. So thank you so much for everybody, and see you next time.
Any question from someone?
I had a couple of questions, but I'll try to limit them then. So how is then the authentication done? So is it then in the demo you have seen, is it then hard-coded in the device itself? So that's the first question. And the second question is if you... okay, but I don't want to sound too loud. And if you have multiple devices, for instance, you have your phone next to you and you have your headset on, and does the signal go to both devices? And what happens if you both respond to the? So if somebody else takes the phone and
Yeah,
responds.
that's one of the properties. So thanks to Ring Your Own Number, you will receive the call into the two devices that do a two parallel ringing. You will be able to use it. So you will receive the same call in the glasses and in your phone number. It doesn't have to be connected via Bluetooth, because you are going to register that device in the WebRTC technology. You are going to register that this device and this device is from my mobile phone. So that's the main point and the interesting thing about this. Yeah, and in case you answer the call with the glasses, the phone will stop ringing.
So you need to be the first one. Just one counters to the call. Yeah. No, it's okay.
It's two registration.
So you need to be the first one to respond, and then you're the owner of the call, let's say, and the other one is then completely blocked.
Yes.
Okay. No. So.
Any other questions? Yeah, thank you very much, Fernando, Fabio, and Ignacio, for the very good presentation, for the great progress that have been made in communication service subgroup of MRN project group. And now that we have a very intense 95 minutes this afternoon, and we started with a keynote from Juan Carlos talking about, from an operator point of view, what would be the XR applications requirements on the network, what would be the impact, and what would be the roadmap of applications and devices, and what are the key technologies that will enable all this, and how we as a community can work together to make it happen. Then Bhabani from Meta talked about devices and applications. What I learned, every time when I hear Bhabani, I learn something new. Today, the most stronger impression is for the success of Metaverse, it's also the key is about experience. And the experience determines the success. And then we have Maria talking about holographic coding, holographic presence as a coding, as a code. And not only about technology, but also about the collaboration with multiple operators in Europe. And eventually we listened to Fernando, Ignacio, and I have to remember your name, and talking about the progress we have made and defining APIs for bring your own number. It's really, I take it as an evolution where actually this one number multi-devices codes are there today, but how we extend that into Metaverse. So it's really great progress. And so this concludes today. And Metaverse Ready Network Project Group in TIP until of end of September has more than 40 companies as a member and more than 150 individuals participating. We believe to make Metaverse happen, it's about evolution, it's about innovation, but even more, it's about collaboration. So we welcome everyone to join us in MRN PG, and let's work together to build Metaverse towards the future. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you. And by the way, don't forget that tomorrow at 4:30 in the same room, we have the second session from the MRN project group on quality of experience, on enabling technology. Look forward to see you tomorrow.